Here are 5 skills that you need to start a business with no money. And I'm not talking about needing a flashy website, not about marketing, huge social media followings, or complex funnels. So stick with me. I'm going to go through these 5 essential skills that you need to be able to start a business with no money today. So first, you need the ability to speak to people. Now, to make a sale to anyone, ever, they need to know, like, and trust you. They are just 3 basic principles that you've probably heard again and again, but they are essential to you being able to sell. So if you're scared to speak to people on the phone or in person, then you need to get out of your comfort zone right now. Set yourself a goal, speak to some strangers, go to work in a call center for a while, go charity fundraising centers. I started off in one of them many years ago. Go to one of them, start getting out of your comfort zone, asking strangers, people you don't know, for money in exchange for your services and your time or whatever it is you've got to offer them. Okay, practice this. And if you sound like you're not confident asking for the sale, then you're probably not going to get it. So that's number 1. Okay, number 2 is being a multitasker. Yes, multitasking. Apparently us guys can't do it. But if you have no money to pay for help and you can't find willing volunteers who are actually reliable, then you're going to be wearing a lot of hats. That's just the basic fact of your life going forward until you've got some money in the business. Okay, so you're going to need to be careful with your time. No more Netflix, no more, doing all this rubbish that you probably do at the moment. You won't have time for that. So prioritize your tasks and make sure you get them done. Just get them done, okay? So think about, what value does the task actually bring? Is it essential to moving the business forward a step? Or is it just some crappy little procrastination task that you're doing? Okay, so don't be that person that will do all of the non-important things first. Okay, the easy things, the things that aren't selling, the things that aren't speaking to your customers, the things that aren't doing the essential bits, and you're procrastinating, and suddenly that shed that you've not been in for 5 years suddenly needs a clear out on that exact day when actually you should be making your first sales calls. Okay, it happens to us all. You're not alone. If you catch yourself doing it, you just need to force your way out of it, because if you're on your own and you've got no money, no one's going to do that for you. Okay, so get out there, start talking to people on LinkedIn, on the phone, wherever it is you're going to do it. And just never forget your customer. I forgot, or when I was saying about multitasking, okay, I forgot, or something came up because I decided to watch Netflix, or I decided to take my dog for a walk, or clean the shed. It's a sure way to isolate them and make them feel like they're not important enough for you to be bothered to show up. Okay, so be a good multitasker, prioritize your tasks, always show up for your customer and your service providers, whoever's providing services for you, always show up. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is being a decision maker. You need to be able to be decisive. Okay, you need to be able to make decisions quickly, but change them slowly. That's something that's not original to me. I actually can't remember where I heard it. It will come to me. Maybe if I remember before the end of this, I will say it. But make decisions quickly, change them slowly. It was one of the best pieces of advice that I've read. That's because I have been one of the people in the past who will make decisions very quickly, but I will also change them very, very quickly. And what happens is you don't end up getting anywhere with anything. You just run around in circles and it doesn't help you. You just waste your time. Okay, so if you can't make a decision, and a lot of people are like that, a lot of people cannot make decisions for their life. Oh, what would you like to eat today? What, I don't know, what would you like? Typical, right? Have you been in that situation before? if you can't make a decision, people will not trust or follow you. Okay, and if they don't trust you, remember what I said before, they need to know, like, and trust you. If they don't trust you, they won't follow you, and you have no business. Okay, so if you can make a decision fast and keep changing them too fast, like I mentioned, you'll get nowhere. Okay, so we all know that person. I know many, including myself when I look in the mirror when I've done it, okay, who 1 minute is a fitness coach, the next minute they're a dog groomer, the next minute they're baking cakes, the next minute they're back to fitness coaching again a month later, and it's really confusing for their audience, it's really confusing for everyone and themselves. They don't know what they're doing. And yeah, maybe that's you right now. Is it you? Is that something you can relate to right now that you're doing? Okay, so what that means you need to do is actually make a decision on what you are actually gonna go with. If you've got multiple options on the table that you're really good at, pick one, go with it, and stick with it for a good while. Don't just keep changing every week or every month or whatever. Okay, stick at what you're doing, make those changes slowly, and see it through for long enough to give it a chance to succeed. And trust me, when I've done that, that's when things have really worked. Okay, what number was that? That was number something, 3. Okay, so number 4, adaptable, problem solver. Okay, maybe that's really 2 things, but I decided I would try and cheat my way out of it and I wanted to get adaptable in there, but you got to be a problem solver. So we're treating it as one thing, because I treat it as one thing actually. And your day one idea probably won't be what you end up doing for the long term. Okay, that's a fact. It shouldn't stop you from getting started. Okay, you need to get started. Okay, and you adapt as you go along by solving the problems that you face. Okay, and what this should also mean is you don't need the perfect product or service or website or email copy or whatever it is you're doing. You don't need it all perfect to get started. Nothing's ever perfect. Okay, nothing's ever perfect. You look at the biggest companies in the world, what do? They go out there and they just throw a product out and then they adapt it as they go on. Someone gave me a good example. I need to write down who these people are, right? So I can actually give them credit for their examples they give. But for example, the iPhone, what we're on iPhone like 13 something now, and they're constantly updating iOS. That was Grant Cardone, just remembered. Constantly updating iOS, and they're always making it better over time. Okay, so why do you day one need to come up with the perfect product, the perfect service? The answer is you don't. Okay, so you need to be an adaptable problem solver. And have you ever heard of that phrase, adapt or die? Okay, most people spend so long, or they're so like focused, drilled in on, no, I'm only going in this direction and that direction only, completely unwilling to change. Remember I said about changing things slowly? It doesn't mean be unwilling to change, okay? If you don't adapt, you will die, okay? You've seen businesses do it. Blockbuster, oh my God, iconic, massive company that nobody thought would ever go under until the likes of Netflix came along, and they didn't see that opportunity. Blockbuster had the money, they could have got in there immediately with the online streaming service. They did it way too late, and who are they now? Some of you listening to this won't even know who Blockbuster are. Isn't that scary? So adapt or die. Be an adaptable problem solver. So one of the things you need to do is be careful to not keep changing your mind, as I've said. Some of you may know that I was a police officer, and one of the things that we used to use this model where we know what our central sort of aim is, our focus, what our goal is in the center, and we would use this model. It's like a 5-step process that you're continuously using when making decisions. Okay, and this is what helps us to go for a structured approach of making decisions, being adaptable and being a problem solver. And that is the first step is gathering information and intelligence. Okay, so you're constantly learning stuff, receiving information about how your customers are sort of perceiving you, how your suppliers are working with you, things that are working, things that are not. Then you need to assess the threat and risk and develop a working strategy. That's step 2 for your what the problem is. So you've gathered the information, that's your information received. You're now assessing that threat. You're developing, a strategy and a working strategy that you can implement to sort of solve that. In the police, number 3 was considering powers and policy. We're not thinking about powers and policy here so much. Perhaps a bit of law we need to consider. Okay, certain things you're doing may not be legal to do, but you need to consider things that are relevant to your business that may relate to sort of powers and policies. So there might be health and safety stuff you need to look at, or whatever. The next one is identify options and contingencies. And that's again for you. You identify what are your options to solve those problems. You can use a SWOT analysis for that. Anyone who doesn't know what SWOT analysis is, leave a comment and I'll just leave a link to somewhere where you can get it, where you can download that for free. And then you can take action and review what happened. When I say review what happened, give it some time, before you start changing things again. Okay, so that's a model that we use in the police, and that's something that you can use to something similar that you can adapt to be able to run your business. Okay, and the last, number 5, will be being good with money. Okay, being good with money. This is so important. Okay, literally, you need to keep a laser focus on your money. Okay, now this is called 5 skills you need to start a business with no money, but hopefully once you've started your business with no money, then you will have money coming in, because that's the point, right? Otherwise, why are you doing it? Most people are terrible with money. Whether you think you are or not, most people are terrible. I am as well, and I'm constantly learning, reading new stuff about money and investing, and there's so much stuff I know now that I didn't know even a year ago, let alone when I was like in my early 20s or anything like that. Crazy, I wish I knew that stuff back then, but I don't. I know it now and I can share it with you. So if we get it, we want to spend it. How many people are like that? How many people, no matter what they earn, at the end of the month, they're having to scrimp and save a little bit or hold back on certain luxuries because they've already blown all their cash throughout the month. Okay, a lot of people don't save anything at all. And that's how most people live. Okay, it's just a fact. Whether you're in the UK, the United States, or anywhere in the world really, that's how most people will live their lives. Okay, and that's why most people literally wouldn't be able to find probably $1,000, $2,000, pounds, whatever it is, if there was an emergency and they really needed it. Okay, most people won't have several months if they lost their job and everything happened, went wrong. Most people wouldn't have several months of cash to be able to survive. So it's easy to think that money will solve all problems, but it's a slippery thing. It will get away from you really, really quickly and easily. You start spending it on this. Oh, that looks like a good idea. This looks like a good idea. So does that. Let's spend because we've got it. And then suddenly one day you wake up and oh shit, where's my money gone? Okay, so especially if you're brand new to business, having access to a lot of money, especially loans, can be one of the biggest curses that you can ever come across. Okay, I've been there. I remember one business loan I took. Oh my God, I blew through 20 grand, 20,000 pounds. What's that? 28,000 US dollars. Okay, literally in a couple of months. How did I do that? What? I don't know what it went on. Honestly, I have no clue. But everything seemed like, oh, well, I've got the money there. I might as well give it a try. Ugh, still got to pay that back. Well, I've paid it back, but you know what I mean? Once you've spent it, you're then oh, I've actually got to pay that back. So you'll buy loads of crap that you do not need. You might want it, but you most certainly probably won't need it. If you treat your business like you don't have any money, you will find creative ways to do things. There are ways to do things for free that you can be able to progress your business without having to just blow money on it or thinking that throwing money at it is the answer, because it's not. Now, some of the things that I've seen people do, and myself, is expensive office space. For example, we're starting a business, so we must need an office, right? Until COVID came along and then suddenly realized even massive global companies can operate absolutely fine without an office. And you definitely can, because you don't have any staff anyway. What's it going to do? Store your filing cabinet and that you'll never use. Okay, clothing with your logo on. even though you're 100% online, so who's going to see it anyway? Who the fuck cares? Who cares? You don't need clothing with your logo on. You convince yourself that the expensive computer built for pro video editors, just so that you can use PowerPoint, is a worthwhile expense. You might spend $3,000 on a computer instead of like £500 or $500 or whatever, when that would have done just fine. Or just use the one you've already got. How about that? It probably works, right? You're probably looking at this right now on your computer. Expensive advertising space. Again, done it. Okay, in a directory, a certain directory I won't name because they'll probably sue me, but they should have gone out of business a long time ago. I don't know why they still exist. You'll get no clients from them. They don't exist. They're good for doorstops. That's it. But you'll cheap yourself out of some of the most important things out there. Okay, so you blow all your money on this. You'll blow money on expensive marketing. You'll be like, oh, this company wants 10 grand a month to do my marketing. I'll blow my money on that. Branding. Oh my God, I went to a branding agency. Yes, let's go and spend thousands of pounds on branding when you have 0 customers, 0 income. It's just stupid, right? I've done these things. You don't need to do them. If you make those same mistakes, you're even more dumb than I am. I'm telling you, it's dumb. So don't do it, okay? Now, you're going to cheap yourself out of some of the most important things, okay, that I regret big time, okay, is not educating yourself, not taking the time to educate yourself. Now, at least you're there. You are there right now, because if you're still listening to this, okay, you are educating yourself right now on this topic, okay? Maybe you need to change your mindset a bit because you've come to a video about how to start a business with no money, okay? Maybe you want to find a way to create some money, okay? It's up to you. You can start a business with no money. My business partner has done that very well as well, because I wasn't going to give her any money. I said, well, you need to go and make some calls. Pick up the phone, use LinkedIn, make some calls, make some money. We're not spending anything. When I say anything, we spent 200 quid. Okay? So you cheap out yourself of educating yourself, or if you did have a bit of money, paying for someone who can actually guide you a bit. Okay, that's another thing. Get someone who can support you along your journey at the level that you're at. Right? That's a common thing. So people will blow all their money on this stuff, but then they won't pay to educate themselves. So you probably won't need anywhere near what you think money-wise to get started. You actually don't need anything. Even if you've got 50 quid, a couple of £100, that will get you started. If you don't have anything at all, like I don't know how, but if you don't, then you probably do. To be honest with you, you probably do have access to more money than you even think. Like you might be there saying, oh, I don't have any money to start a business, but I do buy 5 Starbucks per day, every single day, spending like £300 a month on Starbucks. Well, just don't have Starbucks for a couple of months. Okay, keep that for your budget to get started with. So you probably don't need anywhere near what you think at all. So here's the 5 skills that I think you need to start a business with no money. So the next logical step is to start a business with no money, right? So watch this video. I created exactly on that topic, okay? Get access to that video right now, click on the video, and remember, opportunity awaits us all. You've just got to go out there and get it. Until next time, I'm Aaron Henriques. Take care.